Look what's finally back! Over a year and a half ago, I sent this Mark IV R32 to the body shop in order to get some rust repaired. This car has well over 200,000 miles on it, and it lived its life in the rust belt. On top of that, Mark IVs are known for rusting in several spots, including the bottom of the fender and rocker where it meets the door, around the hatch handle, in the wheel arches, and there's probably a bunch of other spots too that are really common. Now, we started this project over 3 years ago. First with some suspension diagnosis, then fully stripping out the car, removing the engine and transmission, removing the entire rear assembly, because this car is all-wheel drive, removing most of the interior, and doing everything I could to get it ready to go to the body shop. About a year and a half ago, I loaded this car up on the trailer and took it to its first body shop. The plan was to have all the rust taken care of and then a complete respray of the car. Not the $100,000 kind of respray, but one that would basically bring this Mark IV R32 sort of back to its original awesomeness. Unfortunately, Volkswagen's support for this generation of car has become kind of terrible, which means most of the panels weren't available from VW. So I ordered essentially everything that a company called Ray Buck had for this generation Golf. This included lower rockers, wheel arches. I also got new fenders from the dealership because they were available at the time, and a few other odds and ends, bits of metal that I thought we might need to make all these repairs. Also, unfortunately, because the body shop's about 3 hours from me, I don't have much of the actual process that they use, so you get some before and after stuff, which I think is still pretty cool. At the first body shop, essentially, the car was further stripped down beyond what I did. The rusted bits were cut out, and the panels that I bought were welded and blended in. Of course, installing the new fenders, that was pretty straightforward. We did run into a couple of other obstacles. One being the rust around the hatch handle, which proved to be very problematic. Now, while some of the delays were due to the first body shop, there was one part that was holding up a lot of the progress, and that was the front bumper cover. These R32 front bumper covers have become unobtainium at this point, and if you can get one, it's either trashed or it's dumb expensive to secure. I waited almost a year for this brand new factory bumper cover to come in, so that of course held things up quite a bit. Now, you might have caught that I said 2 different body shops. Unfortunately, there were some issues with the first body shop, and I ended up being kind of stuck with a car that wasn't finished. They did the body work and essentially got the car into a primer state, and then advised me that it would probably be best if I found somewhere else to paint the car. On my end, this really came out of the blue and left me in a less than ideal situation. But thankfully, our man Tom at Everything Euro, which you guys have actually been along with me to Everything Euro a ton of times. This is where we take everything to go get dynoed. And Tom was awesome enough to take on the project, even though it had a bunch of other work done somewhere else. Now, if you're in the industry, you know the next thing I'm about to say. If you're not, this is not gonna surprise you. When you have a car somewhere, and then you have to take it to another somewhere, there's always going to be things that the second place finds that they don't like that the first place did. So Tom and the boys found a lot of stuff that they weren't really happy with and actually had to redo a handful of things. Thankfully, nothing outrageous or crazy. Also, Tom bailed me out of kind of a super sticky situation of not having to drag the car back here and then drag it to somewhere else. So after a few months of undoing a bunch of stuff they didn't like and getting the car to a situation where they were happy, we had glass out and a full respray of the car. And let me tell you guys, unfortunately, I'm not a good enough videographer to properly do justice on just how awesome this car looks. So now I think what makes sense is to get all this stuff out of here and really evaluate where we are. We even had the grille painted. Pretty cool. I'll probably order some new emblems. We even got new door sill stickers, our wheel liners. Some of this stuff is gonna go out to the shed. I'm gonna tape this up so I don't rip it off of here. And this is just gonna help me kind of evaluate where we are, what we have left. There's a bunch of stuff in here, like here's the crusty original handle, some various hardware, some wheel caps for the Mark III wheels, a dirty Wookiees plate, and a gas cap, and I'm not sure what that's for, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. What else do we have fun in here? We have a bunch of stuff in the back here. Some of this stuff was nicely labeled. We're just gonna get all this stuff out so we can sort of sort through it and see what we need to do. I got a new R32 grill, front grill badge. That's awesome. I don't know that we're going to be installing these. We'll have to see. What is this? Trunk trim, this giant box. What was in this? I don't know what was in this box. Hey, a front grill. Hey, a lower piece. Had some old crusty steering wheel on here. Here's my key. Excellent. A lot of interior trim is still in here. And we still got to pull like the headliner and all that other jazz out of there. I have some new bits. So what we'll probably end up doing is gutting my blue car, gutting this one, and trying to combo to get like the best combo of both cars. I also have this entire stack of stuff right here that we're gonna be tending with as well. Now, even though I am over the moon excited to finally have this car back, I still have a ton of stuff left to do. This shelf right here is the shelf of parts that we took out of this car. A lot of this stuff still needs to be rehabbed so it can go back in. For example, the engine wiring harness, we'll cut all the old tape, rewrap it, and make it look all nice and fresh. This shelf is all the new stuff that I have to install for this project. Countless bushings, hardware, the Holy Shift kit from Paul, our built transmission, and that doesn't even include the HPA Turbo, which is in this box right here. Oh, also I still haven't accounted for what I'm gonna do about brakes, what I'm gonna do about suspension, and probably a bunch of other stuff that I have forgotten. Which brings me to my next step, is going to really be sorting through everything I have. This stuff has been stacked up for a long time, and I know there's things that I haven't accounted for in this project. I also know there's bound to be things that are lost, things that are broken, things that just I forgot about, whatever, because this has been going on for much, much longer than I had ever anticipated. So I'm gonna be sorting through a lot of that kind of stuff to make sure that we're doing a complete, thorough job on this project. I'm also like doing this and looking over at the window out of the camera, and I know you're gonna have a question about what we did for the rear glass when it comes to the seals. So these rear glass actually have seals that are bonded to the glass. The OEM glass is not available anymore. So glass out for the paint job, remove that seal that's bonded, and then it's just a floating glass. So it is sealed up, but we don't have to worry about that crusty seal, which I think it looks really, really good. There is a Subaru gasket that a lot of people use. If I change my mind, maybe we can add it. Maybe not. I don't know. It looks fine, and as long as it doesn't leak, I am a happy guy. We also have some interior stuff that we got to handle too on this one, such as peeling pillar trim and probably some other stuff too. Now, before I get going full throttle on this black R32, I need to finish this TT. I bought the TT before this black car even went to the body shop. It was supposed to be a really simple, fast project. That's not how I roll around here. I actually had the engine and everything together and installed. I was waiting on a master cylinder for the clutch, which just came because I couldn't bleed the clutch. No fluid was coming out of the master cylinder. So new master cylinder will get installed here in the next couple of days. We'll fire it up, we'll break the engine in, and then it's gonna be full throttle go on the black R32. Most likely I'm going to install a new lift here, right here in this spot, so that I can have an easier time managing a full-time project as well as getting cars in and out. I'm mega hyped, and I'm trying not to go through all the steps because I'm gonna get overwhelmed about this. The big takeaway is there are still some parts available to fix rusted Mark IVs. Again, if this were any other Mark IV, I would not have spent $1 on it getting all the rust taken care of, but because the R32 is such a special car and really has become this collector's item in the VW Audi space, I thought it was worth the money to do that. I also haven't totaled up how much all that costs because I don't want to have a heart attack right now. But it was a lot, and I think splitting between two shops definitely cost me more money than I was expecting. But I think because Tom bailed me out, and again, huge up to those guys at Everything Euro, the car looks better than it would have had it just stayed at the one shop. I hope you guys are hyped too. You've been asking me for so long on where the hell the car is. Well, here the hell the car is. So yeah, that's enough. Also, while this car was gone, I actually bought a red Mark IV R32 with 230,000 miles almost on it. It was damaged in shipping, and while that gets sorted, I actually have some fun things planned for that car. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe you can. So we'll be working on that at some point too. The thing with the red car is a supercharger, so we're gonna supercharge one too. I'm gonna get going and start organizing everything. Then we'll just go from there, I guess. All right, with that, I'm out because I'm about to fall over. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.